Early in the morning on September 20th, 2016, armed law enforcement officers in masks forced their way into a religious building of Jehovah's Witnesses in the village of Nizlobnaya, Stavropol territory.
I
was keeping watch in the building when I saw on the monitor that several vehicles had driven up and people in black masks got out. They jumped over the fence and broke the lock on the gate. They drove their vehicle into our property and began using a circular saw to cut the entry door. They cut the hinges and entered the building. When they saw me, they said, "Hands out of your pockets and go outside."
The security camera footage shows the officers spreading out in the building. Several officers entered the hall on the first floor, and two of them, in the presence of their colleagues, pulled banned literature out from under their clothing and placed it in a cabinet nearby.
We regularly inspect our religious building to make sure there are no strange items or banned literature. As usual, an inspection had been made the night before, and there was nothing in this cabinet. It was empty. But the security camera footage clearly shows officers supposedly seizing literature from this part of the cabinet, while the other shelves were still empty.
The law enforcement officers also seized audio and video equipment. When the representative of the building's owner arrived, the officers did not permit him to participate in the search.
The officer who was in charge of the search did not identify himself and did not let me see the search order. When I asked him to give me a copy of the order, he rudely demanded that I leave the building. So I had no choice but to comply and leave the building.
These actions included multiple violations of the law. For example, the search order was not shown to anyone, even though there were people in the building. For that matter, the forced entry was unlawful from the start. They did not even give the people inside the building the option to open the door voluntarily. They immediately used special equipment. Also, the law enforcement officers exceeded their authority by ordering the building owner's representative to leave the place being searched.
Another search was being made at the same time in the home of Pavel Puzaryov, the chairman of the committee of the local religious organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, village of Nizlobnaya.
Some of the officers jumped over the fence. When they entered our home, there were about 10 of them. They immediately spread out into different rooms, so we were not able to observe everything going on during the search. For example, the first items were planted here, in the kitchen.
As a result of these searches, protocols of administrative violations against the witnesses were filled out. Interestingly, just 1 week before these events, Pavel Puzaryov had been the victim of another tactic. Someone had posted flyers, supposedly from him, in college buildings.
The director of a college called me and said that some flyers had been posted in her college with a message along the lines of, "Get on the path of truth, pray to Jehovah." Below, the flyer listed my phone number and the Kingdom Hall phone number.
Jehovah's Witnesses believe that this demonstrates the intent of the authorities to ban the local religious organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, which has operated legally in the village of Nizlobnaya for 17 years.
The last time homes of Jehovah's Witnesses in Nizlobnaya were searched was in 1985. Back then, Jehovah's Witnesses knew that law enforcement officers could come at any time and seize their Bible or their Bible literature. History is repeating itself. But now, in 2016, even if you don't have anything banned, it can be planted in your possession.
There have been no fewer than 60 incidents of planted and falsified evidence, and in most cases the worshippers could only throw up their hands helplessly. However, when the planting of evidence is recorded on video, incidents